All right, everybody. It is 8 o'clock p.m. Central Daylight Time for about 2 more weeks before we jump into Daylight Savings Time. And we have almost the full crew tonight, guys. I am OUFlagGuy host, and I'm joined by Gavin, and I'm joined by Swiggy tonight. Gentlemen, how are y'all doing tonight? Did the game yesterday give you any pre-2021 or some 2022 anxiety attacks based on how close it was? Did you think we were going to lose? So let's just jump right in. Swiggy, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well, and I'm gonna say it's my fault. The game was close yesterday. I jinxed it. I ended up I had family in town, so I ended up watching the second quarter in a Texas Roadhouse, and that's pretty much all the game I saw because we were out doing stuff. So that's
I was there in person and got to watch whatever. It wasn't a train wreck. I never felt that OU was in danger. I did feel like OU was playing with fire, and if this was 2022, they would have lost that game. Gavin, how you feeling, buddy, tonight? I know my condolences to you. As for everybody who doesn't know, Gavin's grandmother passed away last week, so we really couldn't hold a live stream just because everybody was busy. Gavin with funeral stuff, me with some presentation stuff. Gavin, how you doing? I know she was a big Sooner fan. What's been going on?
Emotionally, it's been doing a lot better for the most part, though, too. In fact, my grandma was a pretty good Sooner fan for the most part. We were watching a lot of games. My favorite was actually the 0-1 Nebraska game that we watched together, as well. Even though we lost it, too, it was always just a fun time hanging out with her. So a lot of times we watch the games. But, it was just kind of been a very emotional ride. And I will say, though, too, I appreciate your condolences. And I've also had a lot of help with the community and everything else, though, too. So I really appreciate you guys so much. Thank you. But as far as the game and everything, I was like, it kind of had the Kansas feel, for the most part, though, too. But it was like, okay, when is we going to finally get a chance to wake up? Because I was afraid of having the hangover. That was like my biggest fear. It's like we were on such a high emotional high, and then it just basically, it's like, okay, we need to get ourselves some garlic and wake up a little bit here.
Yeah, I didn't feel like that we were having a hangover. I didn't feel like that. Again, we were in danger of losing the game. But there is definitely some stuff that we got to clean up for these final 5 games of the season. We have a full house tonight, Sean. Thank you for joining. How you doing tonight, buddy? We're just jumping right in and talking about our recap kind of the UCF game. What were your initial thoughts from it?
That this team is not prepared to do what they need to do to finish the season.
Were you scared that we were going to lose the game at all yesterday, or
I wouldn't call it scared, but if they had lost that game, I wouldn't have been shocked. They were primed for an upset. Now, granted, a lot of teams were primed for an upset yesterday. It happens to the best. It happens to the best of teams at the end of the year. But when you get to this point in the year, and there are certain things that are continuing problems, a lot of issues that popped up today weren't new for this team. The kicking game, inconsistent. They apparently have found a punter, so if they can keep that going. So punting is not an issue anymore, it seems, at least for the time being. I could be wrong on that, but based on, I don't even know the dude's name, but that's usually a good thing when you don't know your punter's name at this moment because he did his job.
I don't disagree with you.
Running the football was atrocious yesterday. And the problem with it was this was supposed to be the team that if you're going to get your running game going against anybody, it was going to be against UCF's defense.
Absolutely, because
the fact
UCF they didn't get run defense than Arkansas State.
Yeah, they couldn't get it going till the fourth quarter, where they just finally where they just kept feeding the ball to Sawchuk, which I guess they decided, he's the guy they're going to go with, and Marcus Major's dealing with an injury, and Tawi Walker had a yelling match with DeMarco at practice or something, or whatever it's alleged to be. But
do you feel like that the run game was a issue, or in the sense of is it more their fault, or was it the O-line because Caleb was not good yesterday? Like, he was probably one of the single worst offensive linemen I've ever seen. I know he needs development, but
there is no development. He can't start anymore. Like, he filled in okay against Texas, which is great and all, but you went up against like UCF has a couple of okay players, but like, no, he can't start anymore. Like, Savion is apparently healthy, and McCain is healthy enough to do some special team stuff apparently. So I don't know what the combination is you got to do. Caden Green's still a true freshman. Guard spot. Tackle and center is pretty set right now. Guard is just a revolving door of who's going to be in there, whether it's because of injury or anything else. And boys and girls, we have 5 games left, and we have 5 losable games if you don't get your shit together in that department, because we're going on the road 3 out of the next 4. 3 out of the next 4 are on the road. There are no promises to anybody. So if they want to make it to Arlington, let alone, be a part of certain postseason discussions that we're a part of at the moment, just by default, they need to find a way to get that fixed. So if it's just simple as getting McCade in there, back at right, and then if Savion or Caden Green, whatever the combination needs to be, they need to figure it out. Now, the running back room, it is what it is. Like, I don't know if it's a situation where DeMarco is just either the most finicky prick, and I mean that in a nice way, when it comes to like having the highest
perfection.
Yeah,
he is a back.
Sure. But ironically, I think you go back to when he was playing, and Chris Brown was the guy they tended to have as pass protection and shotgun formation. It wasn't DeMarco. So I always find that if I recall correctly, Chris Brown was your pass protection guy in shotgun. DeMarco was your north-south runner. But I digress. It's just the fact that they don't have that guy at running back, and which is when you take away Tawi Walker, with all due respect, a JUCO walk-on running back is allegedly your best back. That's kind of a problem for Oklahoma. I don't care if we're a playoff contender or not.
You got to be able to run the ball.
I don't know if you just...
So that goes into the game plan too. Why didn't we? And I'm assuming it's the O-line, but why didn't we even give Dylan a couple looks to just bolt? Because he didn't. He stayed in the pocket all day.
Your quarterback. I mean, Dylan. Listen, if Dylan needs to take over and do something, I'm fine with it. He should not be option 1 to run the football. No quarterback should be option 1. You know what that? You know who does that? Teams who are going for upset bids on a Thursday night type of game against a team that's like in the top 10. You've seen those type of games before where a quarterback just tries to win the game, put the team on his back. That's not what Dylan should be doing. And I don't know. Yeah, well, we can talk. That's a whole different animal. We can go after later. But I at one point is giving Dalen Smothers or Caleb Hicks a few shots to run the ball, because like. Man,
I don't disagree with you. I think it's a combination.
We miss guys like Eric Gray. We miss him, and we miss guys like Kennedy Brooks, who had the patience to know when to make his reads, and like when there was an opening, he took it. Like, man, we miss those guys like that. They just don't seem to exist on this roster. Now, I think we're getting that guy next year, but that's next year. So, we have 20 early enrollees for spring, and he happens to not be one of them, of course. But it's just, you got to live and die with what you have back there, unfortunately. And we're going to find out what this team is made of. Now, defensively for this football team, I hate to play this game because it sounds like because you can't take away plays, but if you take away like 2 plays, the defense had a good day. There was there was the horrible whiff by Woody late in the first half, which I don't know what he was doing.
I don't know either. We were all watching it in the stadium. John Reese
Plumlee was no threat to run like he was at Ole Miss. Like, that dude had a brace, a sleeve, and I think he had a few robot parts in there. Like,
I'm surprised he was the starter, to be honest.
I was like, I saw that. I was like, my God, are you allowed to wear something like that in a football game? Should you be out there? But I mean, he made a couple runs, but I watched what he did at Ole Miss. That dude was fast. He was nothing compared to what he was before his injury. Yeah, but still, just defensively,
and you have to feel bad for him if that's going to be a permanent thing going forward. It's Jason White all over again.
Well,
you feel bad for the guy. Like to me, he did have NFL potential. I'm not going to say
he's like starter, he's not like that good of a quarterback when it comes to being a pure passer. All due respect. I mean, like he had one of his assets was his the running game for UCF was his legs, and his legs are not really available as much as they were before. But
that's fair.
Key Lawrence went back to some bad habits, bad tackling. He's an up and down player. It just is what it is. I do like Reggie Pearson once again was, he's hit and miss in some games. I'm at the point right now where you're not desperate or anything, but it's time for Brent to put his best guys out there regardless. Peyton Bowen needs to be on the field like 90% of the time. Like people were asking, where's Peyton Bowen until he made a big sack late in the game that all that dude does is just make big plays. Impactful plays. The same thing can be said about Nic Anderson. All that dude does is just every other catch is a touchdown. Now it's not like a video game where you just hand him the ball, he magically ends up there, but I mean he is playing, so it's not like Nick isn't being used. But it's just
side note. Did you see Nic Anderson? The ref gave him an earful when he did the OU after his first touchdown.
Oh, so the refs are paying attention to that as opposed to
I have it on video that they lit him up and he was just like that. The ref.
What? You're allowed to celebrate a little bit. It's that's
because apparently when he turned to the crowd and doing OU to your own crowd is taunting. But whatever. But we can get to that later.
He was taunting you because I don't know, were you there in that part of the field?
Yeah,
sitting there?
I have a clear shot of it. Yeah.
So he was taunting you, and the ref was looking out for your best interest.
I guess so. The ref needs to shove off.
I mean, if you look at the cover picture, Sean, it's pretty clear.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, okay, but so look, teams number 4, 5, and 6 had rough days yesterday. The roughest obviously was Washington. I was a sicko. I was up till 2 a.m.
Yeah.
I would say North Carolina.
Well, they're not. All due respect to North Carolina, I never considered them natty contenders.
And that's fair. I would.
That's what I mean. I would never once, like, all due respect to Drake May and his NFL prospects, I never thought North Carolina was. And they would had to have made it all the way to the ACC title game and beat FSU or something for me to actually think that. I didn't think that was going to happen. But losing to Virginia, that was pitiful. But no, Washington was the ugliest performance for anybody yesterday. Like their only touchdown was like a 90-yard pick six late in the fourth quarter where Arizona State looked like they might have put the game away. They were getting that close and they got screwed on a pass interference call, a flag that was picked up. But when you see on replay, there was a hand full of jersey. Ray Charles could have made that call. Okay.
Yeah, so it was pretty bad.
Yeah. Well, and now real fast to talk about the offense and stuff as well, because all three of you kind of mentioned it in your own way of like death by 1,000 cuts. I think it was a combination yesterday of not only just no run game, the O-line was bad, Levy's play calling was dookie. The wide receivers, we're missing Anthony. Like having Anthony on the field, we're missing that 1A guy. I'm not saying that our wide receiver room is bad, but it gave a little more depth and it gave a little more options. And I just don't think Dylan still sees the middle of the field. We weren't calling plays either where he was going up and turning left or right or anything like that. None of those slants and stuff existed. All right.
I had to get something real quick. So
that's okay.
The play calling,
it was bad.
Yeah, yes and no.
It was very conservative.
Well, I'm not upset about the play calling. It's more of the execution. You can't have guys drop passes and
right. And I don't blame Dylan at all on that or anything.
And some of it's some of it is just on the personnel and what we're able to do. I'd like to do crazy play calling, but if you get too cute, stuff gets blown up and you're saying,
but we did get cute yesterday though. We did not. I'm not gonna say we didn't execute because we did, but we didn't do good stuff.
You're getting cute, and it looks bad when Gavin Sawchuk's in the Wildcat catching a direct pass or not catching a direct pass and fumbling it. So it looked like he hadn't run the play very often or in an actual game. So it's just a combination. It just felt like you should not be struggling as much against this team because you change a couple plays, it's 21-0 potentially early.
Yeah.
And you take away their will to keep trying to play and win. But Gus Malzahn is a legit offensive minded head coach. So he found ways to keep them in the game, but I don't know what we're going to do about our kicking situation. Schmidt is he's just straight up ass. There's just no way around it. We do not have a kicker.
Stadium after the 15-yard kick for Chick-fil-A. Can he start? Does he have eligibility? Can y'all help, please? That was right after the second kick, and we're like, what a way of timing, guys. What a way.
I respect Brent. He's not going to throw the kid under the bus when people ask him in the post game that he still believes in him, but I don't believe in him. At some point, what do you have to lose by giving Gavin Marshall a shot here? I don't know how it's going to.
You don't. Let's just say you don't.
If he screws up, at least you tried. At least you did something. And there's gonna come a day in the next 6 weeks where you're gonna have to make a kick late. It could be to put the game away. You might be down 2 and you need to hit. Can you hit a 42-yarder to win it? I don't have the confidence that we can make a 42-yard field goal to win a game right now. So that's a problem.
Not at this moment, no.
So, and you should be able to make a 42-yarder. The other team had a kicker who was hitting he was hitting 46-yarders. I got this, guys. We're good. And I joked with Elo because I was he watched the game with me. As his last name's Boomer. He's very comfortable making field goals in this stadium. He's welcome to transfer and enter the portal. Come over here.
The NIL would be fantastic.
Oh yeah, his last name is Boomer. Oh come on, let's do it. Let's make it happen. So
and that's a 59-yard field goal from Boomer. Yeah, it writes itself.
The T-shirts would sell like hotcakes. He can make kicks. Boom, exactly. It got quiet. You could hear the UCF fans chanting "Boomer" or "Boom." That's the thing they do.
I was there. You heard them, and they were, to UCF fans' credit, they were loud. For the
they were loud. UCF is a very online fan base. I live 2 minutes from campus. I don't see crazy UCF person out and about in the wild. It's just Orlando to me. But they live on the internet as UCF fans. They pretend to be regular Orlando citizens when I go to Walmart and pick up food or whatever and whatnot. But Oklahoma won. And they were not the garbage team of the day. Thankfully, other things happened. No, not
at all. Again, I never felt we were in danger, but once we were starting to hit under 8 minutes around the third quarter, I was like, all right, guys, you're playing with fire, and I'm not going to say you're the worst team on this field, but
I wasn't sweating it, but at the same time, I was like, well, I said this team was going to lose a game or two. This might be one of them. And they were able to get away with it in a sense. They were able to, and again, the defense for the most part played well outside of 2 really bad gaffes, 2 really bad ones. But
turnover.
And Kanik just being over his skis, dude, you already talked shit once. You don't you do that shit again. You were gonna get a 4th and goal and potentially force Malzahn to make a decision whether to kick or go for it on 4th down. And he just handed them basically they were going to get it in after that. So
I agree.
It's oh my God, are we going to have another goal line stand? And it's well, no, Kanik screwed that up for everyone. So, and he pulled his ass for a few plays. Brent was not.
Brent lit him up.
Well, Yeah, and then the other thing too was like he almost got called for a roughing too, if I'm not mistaken. On that first drive as well, and Brent basically kind of laid onto him a little bit too. So he's been kind of.
I can live with that. But from what I understand, because UCF is a college football team from the state of Florida, by law, in their blood, Florida teams talk mad shit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they're notorious for that.
Go back to the Natty back in 2008. The Florida Gators talked a lot of shit, including their Jesus boy Tebow at the end. So,
yeah, like they're notorious for that. Everyone knows like that's how they throw people off. They make it personal.
And then there's the whole separate breed that live in Dade County, Florida, who are brought up to talk. It's just there is a certain breed of Florida football player from the Pop Warner level all the way up. Florida kids are mean sons of bitches. They are raised to be that way. I know from experience, watching from the stands and just having some backyard football fun on the field. But
they're notorious for it.
Even UCF, even the Knights are gonna, but and they've yet to win a Big 12 game, but there we are. Ooh, almost a pick there. I'm watching Miami and Philly at the same time, but
it's not a Cowboys game. Gavin,
it's a huge game. I'm rooting for the Dolphins here.
I mean, I hate to say it because I hate to give Philly credit, but those are some of the best NFL throwback uniforms they're wearing tonight.
I mean, it's cute and adorable that they're wearing those, I guess, but whatever.
Gavin, you're very much on X's and O's. Was there anything really that you also saw from like both the offense and the defense? Because again, I agree with Sean, and I'll throw in there, like, to me, the defense definitely shined, and the only true egregious thing was they couldn't get turnovers. But that's the first game out of 6.
Well, we should have had a pick in the end zone that was dropped by
Billy Bowman.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But one thing, though, too, it was kind of interesting. Okay, and Sean, you probably remember, but you remember 2002 Texas when we had Quentin Griffin, and we just basically used that delayed draw that we did back in the day. It was just kind of like, that was basically the same play that they did, where they kind of gashed us and everything, because a lot of what they did was just mostly used the misdirection, focus on like to where they basically had the quarterback sprinting out right and then just, hand it off and just basically misdirect the offense. So it was just kind of like basically that sort of game plan from what they did.
I mean, it's just, I mean, they were able to get, they were able to get out. They were able to get some runs on the outside. They were not running up the middle was not happening, but they were able to kind of like cut up the sideline on the short side of the field. And they were able to make some plays there. But I mean, for the most part, like UCF offensively is like one of the top teams in the country. They're like top 10. Like it's like it's like us and UCF are like right there next to each other in the top 10. But and it's what you said too. To our credit, we shut them down. They didn't even get over 500 yards. Yeah, we held them below like well over 100 yards, like their average and stuff. So it's like, again, you take away 2 plays, it's a lot worse, and we're not having a onside kick happening at the end. So
did they almost recover it? Because I could not see from my angle where they were at. It's fun, and they almost got it.
Well, it was a little like there was a small like gas moment. It took a second, but there was never OU got it. Let's just leave it at that. But the ball was touched by an OU player and was loose momentarily. That's what I'll say.
Okay.
But yeah, we might have been having a different conversation considering the range of Mr. Boomer.
Yeah.
But we didn't have that conversation, and Oklahoma is still undefeated, and just I don't know what much else you could say other than that's already been said. But they need to get hopefully they're a little healthier this week. I would hope. And then you got to get ready to go, Lawrence, where we get to play the game of will Jalen Daniels play this week? I'm leaning towards no.
No, he's not going.
Because the reason I say that is because
is it out in the wild now at this point?
No, it's nothing's official, but that dude has chronic back problems, and that shit does not go away. So he can, from what I understand, he can. This is like very loose rumor here, but he has trouble walking at times. Let's leave it at that. So even if that dude does play, I'm not saying you do this, but one hit from the behind and he's probably done.
Probably.
I think.
I mean that's just football.
I think we will see Mr. Bean. Not that Mr. Bean, but the quarterback for Kansas. I think we will see him. Who is? I mean, the drop off is not that much. He is very capable. So it is on the road, and Kansas is not trash. So
they're not Kansas of 3 years ago. They are Kansas of we were ranked at one time this year.
No. The last time we went up there was the infamous game from 2 years ago.
Yeah, I was there. I saw it. I was
Caleb stole the ball from Kennedy, and legally was able to do that.
Yeah, because all that was because he was behind the line of scrimmage. Anything that happened behind the line, you can do that and everything. If you're past the line, that's another story.
The one thing I do want to bring up on it was I know I bitch about it. I know I bitch about it a lot.
You bitch about it. What do you bitch about?
I'm sorry, the refs were not on point at all. The complete missing of the taunting. Like, I'm sorry, guys. I know we're not going to get calls. That is just a egregious thing. Even Brent spent about a good 2 or 3 minutes lighting them up on it. And the stadium was cheering him on. So, he was yelling at him, and it looked like they were going to try to disqualify him because he was getting in their face of, you're going to not call that, but you're going to yell at my guy for doing it. He was getting pissed, and it was old school Bob Stoops pissed off. Good for Brent for doing that. But, Russ, you got to pick your shit up. You got to do that. You got to make that call. That's way too obvious. I don't care that he did it, but you gotta call it.
Well,
it's textbook.
Refs. I mean, there's bad everywhere. That's just reffing, though. It's bad everywhere. Look what happened with Texas, Houston, and
don't get me started on that bullshit.
Yeah, exactly.
There
was a lot of bullshit that happened.
Yeah, there was a lot of craziness around college football. It wasn't just us. It was.
I know.
If you told me that Texas was secretly staying in the Big 12 yesterday, I would have believed you.
Yeah,
I would have believed you. But
there's and it's what you said, Sean. Of go get your fine. Like, he deserves to go off on him.
That was like, I could not believe that it wasn't reviewed, and that it's like, I remember like Pat Forty was like, it sounds like with the end of that game, Houston was screwed, and then he actually looked at it, was like, and he's like, oh yeah, they were screwed. I'm not now. There's no guarantee Houston wins the game. I'm not going to be that guy, but you got the first down pretty obviously, and then it's like it's
like us in Oregon. It was a screw job.
Yeah,
I can't go there. You can't say it's incompetence more than anything.
And that's where I'm going. That's where I'm going with is. I'm tired of
refs. Means like the Big 12 wants Texas to win because it helps them for some reason when it doesn't. No.
They want that playoff money. They have to figure out other ways to screw over.
Honestly, it's just worse because look, at least back with Oregon OU, stuff with reviews were still being worked out. I'm not saying that was bad.
Well, no, like the Pac-10 back then was the one Power 5 conference that had their own refs ref the game as opposed to the visiting team's refs coming in, like every other Power 5 team did, or the Power 6 back then. Excuse me, the Big East was still a thing. No, that was horrendous, and we could talk about forever on that.
Go ahead, Gavin. Go ahead.
Okay, the one thing I will say, and it's just a minor detail, I was somehow wondering how on earth did the refs, not from above or anything else like that, did not call in to review it, because they did not review it at all or anything. Which that was the biggest thing. I mean, that's my only takeaway from all of that. Because, like, at least for Oregon, they at least reviewed it. Even though they got the call wrong, which is I'm still upset to today. But how do you not review something that critical? And
well,
besides that, that's kind of one of my biggest issues that I had, because there was no review on that whatsoever by any chance. But the problem is, even if it does review, 9 out of 10 times it does not get overturned. That is the biggest issue.
Have you seen, Gavin, and I think it's D2, their refs wear cameras. I'm starting to be a fan of that. Like, if y'all are going to be that incompetent on doing one job, just like Pizza Hut in the stadium ran out of pizza, if you're that incompetent on one job, I'm sorry, I'm all for it.
No, it's not just D2. The ACC refs for the UVA North Carolina game, they had body cams.
So. Oh, okay. I was unaware of that. I thought it was just D2, but
no.
Yeah, ACC. That was the first time I ever saw it, because I saw the ref. He was doing he was doing the catch signal for the interception, and you just saw him jiving his arms. It's like, I have never seen this POV before. So,
well, okay, hold on, and I'm going to remember this, but doesn't the Fox Noon, doesn't usually have like their umpire or something like that usually as well? I know it's not.
I have no idea.
I haven't watched Big Sunrise Kickoff in a minute. I will this week though, for obvious reasons.
Because I somehow thought, like back a while ago or so, like Fox always had like the umpire right there basically had the camera or so. It was either that or maybe with the Big Ten for some weird reason too. For some weird reason, I somehow remember that though as well.
I'm sure we'll see it on Saturday then in Lawrence, if that's the case. But Quinn is out for at least 3 to 4. It sounds like.
And your prophecy of can you make it to the Big 12 championship is starting to come to fruition.
Well. Look, I'm not sitting here celebrating a dude's injury, but
but you said,
but at the same time, I ain't feeling sorry for him. Because no one felt sorry for Oklahoma last year when they had quarterback injury issues, I was told the 3 deep at quarterback for Texas is the greatest of all time. I was told Malik Murphy was could start for almost any other Power 5 team with the exception of a few, and of course God's gift of football is just right there behind him.
He is.
So. Texas should have no problem winning out, from what I was told by experts of football from certain Texas websites and recruiting websites. I don't understand why everyone's so upset over this. I just can't. I can't imagine why they would be panicking now. So everyone just penciling in both OU and Texas to be in Arlington. Eat shit, and we'll see how they do against BYU at home this coming Saturday. I wish them luck, because they're going to need it.
Yeah. I mean, and surprisingly, if you take a look at the standings right now, OU's undefeated in conference. Texas, Iowa State, and Oklahoma State, and Kansas State are tied for that second place spot.
I don't know what the exact – I think the magic it's too early for magic numbers right now, but – I think if OU wins at least 3, they're going to be good. It just depends on if they drop if they drop a game to whomever, and it just depends. But I think 4 if they win 4, they're in no matter what. I think, and it's just I think we're going to know by the time we play BYU. Honestly, I think that's where we're going to know for certain. But
absolutely, and I think that
because I think Eric asked me about because based on what he said, what you saw of UCF, do you think they could beat this team? I'm like, honestly, outside of a couple teams, I think anyone can beat anybody in the Big 12. You take out OU and Texas healthy, I think anyone can beat anyone at this point. So
and at least on the schedule wise, Iowa State, Kansas State, and Texas all play each other, so that's going to eliminate those.
There's going to be something left there.
The only one there is the Oklahoma State one, and I think they still have to play Iowa State and
no, they already played
Kansas
it.
State. I think. Then I think it's Kansas State.
It's OSU beating K-State is the biggest what the fuck win for this year, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I am more worried
that was
about
what, a Friday night game?
Yeah, it was right before
Yeah.
it was right before the Texas game. I was in my hotel room going, well, this is not what I expected, but okay.
Yeah.
I am more worried about this Saturday than I am Stillwater.
I am too, because Kansas has a rushing game just like UCF.
Well, no, like Oklahoma. It's not about rushing game. That has nothing to do with it. I feel good.
Rushing defense.
No, I feel good about OU stopping the run. Because I know, OSU has this. They're one of their backup running backs, Ollie. What's his name? Had a big game.
Ollie Gordon.
Yeah, Ollie Gordon. I'm not afraid of OSU's running game because their passing game isn't a threat either.
No.
And I don't know what time that game is going to be. It'll probably be big noon, big sunrise kickoff again.
Big noon kickoff.
Because OSU's got Cincinnati this week. They should beat Cincinnati, you would think. I think OSU is going to be ranked when we play them. They'll be fringe. They'll be like number 23 in the country or something when we play them. Not because they beat Cincinnati, just because you start running out of 2 lost teams at some point. You're going to get to that point of the year where they're 6-2. Put a number next to their name. That's just what's going to happen.
Yep.
I think that will be. They'll build it up the last bedlam and everything, and so it all like this week.
They're going to do the same thing Gus did. They're going to throw the kitchen sink at us.
I mean,
I'm probably, but
they were receiving votes.
I mean, the week after next is a really loaded. Like the 1st November Saturday's pretty. This upcoming week is like very like the primetime games are like non-existent unless Wisconsin and Stanford are up for upset alert against OSU or Oklahoma or Ohio State and Washington.
I mean, Wisconsin could.
Yeah, but it's not. That's not a game. You're like, yep, that's an upset alert. I mean, if it happens, weirder shit has happened. But all the big games were like at 3:30. It's like you got Utah, Oregon. You have the cocktail party. Yeah, the cocktail party. There's like one more. I think OSU play some.
Oregon, Utah.
Yeah, I said Oregon, Utah, the cocktail party. There's like one more. Like Bama and LSU are on their bye week because they play the next week.
Yeah.
And
come on.
You're
telling me you don't want to watch Dion's team get killed by UCLA in primetime?
Oh no, everyone's given up on Dion now because he can't like actually win anything now. So
no,
Yep. It's amazing. You called it. That said, the moment they lose a couple, it's gone, and it's like magic. It's gone.
Yeah. It was like I knew this week 1. It was like, oh my god, TCU like everyone's takeaway week 1 was, oh my god, Colorado is so good. My takeaway is, oh my god, TCU sucks.
Yeah.
That was my takeaway. Wow, you guys suck. But yeah, like the Dion saved college football. Fuck you. So every time, whenever Deion Sanders has saved the sport, shut the fuck up.
You know what? College football doesn't need saving.
Well, they want more college football's never going to be the NFL.
No.
It never wanted to be the NFL, and people are mad that there's going to be a play. Like people are mad that there are some like people that are my age and older who can't handle change in the sport. Oh my god, there's going to be bowl games don't matter. And kids aren't. It's not about going to school.
Bowl.
It's not even that. It's like the transfer portal and NIL pissed the old people off. And I'm like, I hate to break the bad news to you, but one of those things been happening under the table for every year since the sport was a thing. Transfer portal. I love the transfer portal. I fucking love it. You get rid of like baggage you don't need. You bring in guys you actually want who can actually help your football team. Look at OU this year. Look at Deshaun McCullough, Jacob Lacey, and all these guys like Kendall Dolby, Walter Rouse. It's like I fucking love the transfer portal. God damn, it's great. So, and I love the fact that we're gonna have like 30 plus recruits signed this year because the NCAA said go hog wild this year as long as you meet your scholarship limit. Sign however many you want. We got like 20 early enrollees as of right now for spring. I'm fucking loving shit right now. So
Yeah.
when you're on a roll and you got shit going, it's great. When you suck, it's like, but that it's made the sport more balanced too. Like you know who's not like obvious, like nobody assumes Georgia's just going to win the national title this year. They think they'll be in the playoff.
Well,
but
they also thought that Georgia lost a lot of people, so they were.
Well, it's not even that. Like there is, like people are really leaning on Michigan now. For Michigan needs to play somebody before I start.
Michigan is undefeated, and they have played the most incomprehensibly boring football I have ever seen.
They have a non-conference schedule that would make Bo Schembechler blush if he was still alive today. While he's also ignoring what his doctor is doing behind closed doors.
Exactly.
But seriously, it's just, people think Michigan can win it. Like, I don't think Ohio State can, but dude, like, I'm not predicting this, but if OU makes it in there and gets the right matchup, we could make it to the title game. You just have to have the right matchup. Fuck, it could be Florida. Like, I think we could take Florida State, honestly. Now, Keon Coleman's real; he's legit. But other than that, I think we could take FSU in a neutral site game. Whether it's
you're only saying that though because we're FSU's kryptonite.
Well, not last year. They have that proud Cheez-It Bowl win. So they finally beat us last year. But
they had the Cheez-It powers. I mean, they needed assistance from it.
But no, like fuck, like that was the one bowl game like both teams gave a shit about. Like Florida State's roster, nobody opted out. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
We had guys opt out, but we still came within. We were a couple of plays of winning that game, and it's like, oh man, I guess a bowl game does matter to some people, but as of right now, it's like I'm just like I'm jumping all over the place, but I know it's going to happen, especially if no upsets take place this Saturday, because on Halloween night we had the playoff rankings, the first ones. I am looking forward to what if all 5 Power 5 teams are undefeated? Fuck you! Why are people are asking Kirk Herbstreit, what if like every Power 5 has an undefeated champion? Who gets left out, Kirk? And Kirk's like, he literally like paraphrased, who gives a shit? He literally said, who gives a shit? Just went out. Like something that's never happened in the history of the sport. Every major power league has an undefeated champion.
These things always work themselves out. It'll be
Georgia is probably dropping a game, and I'm not saying they suck. It's just they're going to go against the meat of their schedule without their number one offensive weapon, who has saved their asses twice this year. So that's a possibility. Michigan and Ohio State are going to play each other. Penn State doesn't know how to throw the ball further than 15 yards down the field. God, that was pathetic yesterday.
It was. I saw some of that. That was horrible.
Yeah, and then you have Florida State, who needed Duke's QB to re-injure his ankle to comfortably win that game. Maybe they win regardless, but they needed a quarterback injury to get out of that one. So in Washington, I'm telling you, like Washington,
they fucked around and almost found out.
Yeah, against the worst team, like worse than USC.
This is another year where the Heisman's just. I know we say the Heisman's meaningless. It's been meaningless.
No, it's not. We built statues for it. We fucking love the Heisman.
Well, true, okay, we love the Heisman. I'm just saying that this is just one of those. This is just another year where it's like we're just going to give the Heisman to someone.
Caleb.
No. Get ready. The new darling at the fine folks at Fox Sports College Football, they're gonna love this. JJ McCarthy, America's most adorable quarterback who wears a winged helmet, is going to be the new favorite. It's like, well, he's the quarterback of the undefeated Michigan team, and why not just give it to JJ? God, it's just all the Michigan homers at Fox are just gonna eat that shit up. Because
that's exactly what you said though. Everybody is like, it's an off year where it's like There's nobody like that's excelling.
And this isn't even like a Dylan. This isn't even like a Dylan Gabriel thing. It's
no. This
like
is a
Caleb Williams legitimately is like the best player in college football. He's not going to win the Heisman this year because his team is not even close to what it did last year, which is sad because the USC specific media has officially turned on Lincoln Riley.
Oh yeah,
I saw
turned on him.
I saw Plashke's column today.
Well, Plashke is like
he sucks.
Plashke is ready to turn on people the moment he can just to make a juicy article. So Bill Plashke is different, but I'm talking about
he made a juicy article.
No, I'm talking about the Homer media, like the recruiting website folks.
Yeah,
they're turning on
like
him.
Cowherd.
Well, no, not Cow. Well, no, Cowherd's not gonna turn on him, but Cowherd has had to openly admit that I was wrong. USC can't play defense. They're not going to do this. They're not going to do that. No, I'm talking about like
what about Lionheart?
No. Well, no, I'm talking about the recruiting websites.
Yeah,
the Jeff Ketchum equivalents and those people for USC, or the Kerry Murdoch equivalents for USC. They are all turning on him. My fate. Did you see the
night for them last night?
Did you see the video of the radio play-by-play guy just like very solemnly saying, "Well, normally we talk to a player or two, win or lose, but we have been informed that we will only talk to a coach." And
and they turned on. They got pissed.
He wasn't pissed. He's like he just very quiet. He just very like nonchalant. Went. It's what the I'm paraphrasing. It's like it's what the new regime how the new regime does things. And so we're not going to talk to players after that amazing game.
I saw all the journalists from the OU media saying, "Welcome to our world for 5 years. Have fun. This is y'all's problem."
No, everyone is realizing that they got sold a bill of goods, and it's hilarious to me because what USC didn't have before Riley got there, he didn't have a foundation of a solid head coach of 15 plus years with a good with a good culture.
They didn't have the seamless transition essentially from coach, and it was he's as good as Clay is right now.
the biggest problem is, look, he had some of Clay's players, and Clay at the very least had a few good linemen, and with their schedule last year, that's all they need. But with Caleb moving on next year, man, I know there's recruiting, I know there's stuff.
I'm sorry, Malachi Nelson's not a superhero
next year's going to feel like year one for him, and it's going to be another major regression.
Well, Riley's not going to be there. He's gone. He's gone. If he sticks around, I will be shocked.
I don't think an NFL team's going to hire him. I don't think.
Let's not get that crazy.
Well, he's not built for the NFL. He's not. His anti-media stuff, he's not built for that.
Well, no, I will agree to you to an extent that, you see, he hates talking to the media like once or twice a week. The NFL, it's like 6-7 days a week you talk to media, so he's gonna love that shit. But
it's mandatory.
I respectfully disagree that no one are you kidding me? Like a package deal for Caleb to Chicago with definitely first say no one would hire him. There are bad NFL franchises who will roll the dice on that, because if I'm Riley, my mindset is I can hire a defensive coordinator who's good. Because I don't have to rely on my coaching tree in college. That's non-existent, by the way, because he was relying mostly on he had to rely on his OU coaching tree, and there was no one worth a shit available.
And no one wants to work with him either. That's the flip side, is he's burned so many bridges. They're like, no, go fuck yourself.
It's bad. No, it's bad. I don't know. Maybe, but like we always talk about these package deals. Like I'm old enough to remember where it's like, oh, Dabo's going to come out with Trevor Lawrence out of college. I don't know what Lincoln wants to do. The only thing I know about Lincoln is if he does leave USC, it's going to be everyone else's fault, and his version of events
per
will never,
tradition.
and his version of events is not going to match up with the official version.
Plus, like a lot of NFL teams were using a lot of his concepts early on when he was having early success at OU.
But it's a Band-Aid. It's not a long-term solution, just like we saw with Coach Bro, that it lasted, 2 years, and then NFL teams caught up with it. They adjusted really well.
Well, I mean, you obviously, I'm not going to like shit on the guy completely. Riley has the ability to adapt offensively. It's just the other side of the ball he's not good enough. As much as I will shit on Riley, Riley is a genius when it comes to offensive football. The other side, he just like he wants nothing to do with it. He doesn't like he give two shits. But the point of the matter is that like I am waiting for that moment where first of all, which Acho was it that put out the tweet that said Caleb should shut it down this year?
Yeah,
it was one of the Achos.
Emmanuel
Acho. First of all, however you feel about Caleb Williams, what a fucking bitch thing to put out as a man, let alone a football player or just a fucking man, to say you should shut it down. That's the last thing. Caleb Williams has this already has this rep from people who know him that he's soft and a bitch. The last thing you need to do is to validate that mindset and that viewpoint people have of you by shutting it down for the rest of the year.
I don't really have a lot of respect for Acho at all, period, honestly.
You should totally shut it down. It's like, what a fucking
his views on all of this stuff, though, too, it's just like, it's just nowhere to where I am just like in any way that you could just do it. It is just, horrendous just to put that down, especially when you're got about another month or so to play left in the season.
I don't have a problem with players opting out of meaningless bowl games because
but you still have a season to play.
It's like
the bowl games, but with the season, though, that's another thing.
You can still technically compete. You're still not out of it for the Pac-12 title, for fuck's sake.
No,
right?
No, you're not. You still
win it.
Pac-12.
Like, you're not going to win the Pac-12, but you still have games against Washington and Oregon that could, who knows? Like, I ain't going to be against rooting for USC to beat Washington. I think they could do it, honestly, if they get their shit together. Riley's capable of rallying the troops and winning games like that. We've seen it before.
We've seen it. The last time we've seen it was 2021 OU Texas. We have not seen it since then because he doesn't care.
USC has the firepower to take down Washington and Oregon. Will they do it?
It's just the problem is the plane's going down. He has to try and regain control. Playing Cal's going to help. That's definitely going to help them. But then back to back, Washington, Oregon, UCLA. That's rough. And you know what? Caleb's going to have one of the strangest resumes of anyone who's the best player in college football, because even Kenny Pickett, of all people, won an ACC title. If Caleb doesn't win the Pac-12 this year, he has no titles under his belt. He has nothing. No college football playoff appearances.
Yeah, add that in as well.
Excuse me. He has an Alamo Bowl trophy.
Oh, an Alamo Bowl trophy. Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
You're right.
You're right.
Yeah.
Which ironically, we'll throw this in as well. Then, it's what you said, Sean. Is he's the most talented player in college football if he was developed right now at this point. The flip side of it is if he goes to the NFL, he will have no playoff appearances and no title appearances.
Okay.
Let alone Pac-12. It's like, sucks to be him.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Here's something, and I want to be able to tell you, want to share this, is that you want to know what his record is against top 25 teams whenever he's been playing for his record for Caleb Williams? 4-7.
Yeah, I was about to say, I was counting in my head what ranked teams he would have played, and I was like, okay, there was Texas, there was
And NFL scouts, based on just the little pieces and everything, aren't impressed by that. They're like, he folds under pressure.
That's nothing.
Like,
They don't. No, that's nothing to do with anything. No, he is. As of right now, he would go number one. Like, don't let top 25 record. Fuck that shit. Like, like that's they don't care about that shit. Does he look the part? Does he have all the tools? They think he's the next Mahomes. So, and what was Mahomes' record in college?
Yeah, but
granted, he wasn't the number one pick, but he was a first round pick.
But that was a Texas Tech. That wasn't a blue blood. And
but that's something like blue blood. Going to a blue blood and getting drafted has nothing. There's no correlation. It says Ohio State's quarterback room.
It doesn't. But the point still is, Mahomes went to a fantastic situation. Andy Reid, Tyreek Hill, a team that had made the playoffs with Alex Smith.
Sure, but it's not just it was a combination of fantastic situation and the dude can ball.
You can't.
So
yeah,
he can, but I guess that's my thing.
He's the best player in the league.
Mahomes still balled even when things got rough. That's the one thing with Caleb that we've seen these last 2 weeks.
Well, I don't think Mahomes had a winning record, to be honest, at any point. So
I don't care about. I'm just going to care about wins and losses. Just how things just shut down with Notre Dame, and NFL is different than college, and I'd still take Mahomes number one, but I don't. Not Mahomes. Williams number one, but he can't pretend that there aren't at least some red flags with his attitude the last couple of weeks.
He comes off as a bitch.
Yeah,
like even when he was at OU, it's like, man, you look like a bitch at times. Like, you need to
and that's the other half I keep hearing too, is like the little bits and pieces is they're not liking his attitude. Like, he's not a team player.
Yeah, well, listen, when they do interviews,
when you got the Wendy's commercials.
Well, that's just putting your name out there, type of stuff. I have no problem with
that. But I'm just saying his ego is has already been big enough as it is, though. Too. I'm just saying it's gonna, it just pretty much is kind of gotten.
It was terrible. It was so bad when literally the debut of the commercial where the Fansville where he's cursed. I wear number 13. I'm on the cover of this magazine in this video game.
Yeah.
Like, and then more bad shit happens.
At least he stopped painting "fuck Utah" and "fuck Notre Dame" on his nails. I don't care if he paints his nails. If he does it, more power to him.
He should paint "fuck Tebow" on his nails.
Painting. Yeah, I mean, Utah just owns him. It's the entire situation.
Utah has no quarterback play, and Alex Cringe says, "Don't worry, guys, I got this."
Well, that's the same thing. You saw undisciplined, where it's 3rd and 9. They get it. They're setting up for 4th down play.
I'm going to make a walk-on quarterback for Utah look like a Heisman winner.
And for whatever reason, Bear Alexander. Look, I don't think that was targeting what he got.
No, I got some shit to say about that. First of all,
if you hit a quarterback in the head like that, that's the risk.
Well, first of all, regardless of whether that was target or not, for the few USC true believers still out there who bitched about that, like, they all pinned their hopes on Bear Alexander this year. We got a 5-star D lineman. Oh yeah, it's like, my brother. It's gonna take more than that to overcome shitty Alex Grinch defensive schemes. Like, we had our best deal 2 years ago. We arguably had our best, most talented D line we've had in a decade, and that motherfucker fucked that shit up. Nick Benito is doing pretty good for the Broncos right now. Perrion was a crazy person, but he was still. I mean, he was good in college. Isaiah Thomas and Jalen Redmond, a solid, really good college D line for Oklahoma, and he couldn't take advantage. He would not let those. He would just not turn those guys loose. We should have dominated almost everybody on the line of scrimmage, with the exception of 1 or 2 teams on our schedule. But no, we can't. Let's not use Nick Benito unless we absolutely have to. God,
I want to add in real fast. I do want to add in if there's something from that USC game and stuff as well to add in for it. Man, we've this year had some really memorable quotes as well. I saw the one where it's like they got a Heisman Trophy winner at quarterback, so we're gonna make some things, and they're gonna make some things, and that's just the way it is. But we've got ourselves a pig farmer at quarterback, so we're proud of that guy too. I'm like, perfect marketing, dude.
No,
like,
my favorite bitch Tebow quote was him whining about people talking about the national championship this year. It's like, when do we talk about that? When do we bring that? I don't know where that narrative came from. Motherfucker, you opened your debut press conference as the head coach that we're here to win national championships, you stupid fuck.
Yeah, they pulled receipts on him fast. Yeah.
God. What a
match.
I'm mad for USC fans, and I still say, like, fuck them. Like, I'm mad for them, but I mock them at the same time. It's like, you motherfuckers, like, talked on Twitter because all your national media, all of your bought and paid for media who are homers for you, were the glamour program at USC's back. It's going to be just like the Pete Carroll days. No, Pete Carroll could coach both sides of the football. Pete Carroll had the ability to shut down LA recruiting. Oh, you could play football? Guess where you're going? The Coliseum. Come on. He didn't have to leave his fucking office. He just like opened the back window and shouted out who he wanted. He got everybody who was worth a shit in Los Angeles County. Yeah, UCLA got to pick at the bones.
Yeah, you and I talked about that almost 15 years ago of what I think it was one of his star players that went down. It was like, open the back window. Hey, who wants to come play for USC?
Who wants to go play for Pete Carroll?
Yeah. He is the only one who could do that at that time, even with Urban Meyer, even with Bob. He's the only one who could.
Well, that was back in an era where you just didn't walk into somebody else's backyard and just steal players. Now, what was ironic is that Riley was recruiting LA better than USC, and that's why they wanted to hire him, because like he was stealing guys from LA to get to OU all the time. The problem was when he got there, he couldn't fucking like. For whatever reason, he couldn't make relationships with coaches. He couldn't shut down Los Angeles. Guys are still leaving the state, let alone Los Angeles.
They don't want to play for him.
Brent is stealing guys from fucking Florida still. He's about to get another one in a week or two from Tampa Catholic with Eddie Pierre-Louis.
Speaking of that, you know who the real coach was at Clemson now.
Yeah, it was Brent. It's not what Brent gets there. Clemson's national title contender year in and year out. Brent leaves Clemson. The erosion began, and Dabo, all of his little funny little yokels, old aw shucks type of mentality ain't working no more. What a shock! For fuck's sake, you lost to a coach who couldn't take a knee to win a game.
I really thought God's name, image, and likeness would help us win. I really thought that.
There's going to be no amount of therapy that's going to really help.
I'm not going to do NIL. I'm not going to go in the portal. Good luck, Dabo. It's been nice knowing you.
Yeah, Gundy said the same thing, and guess what? We see how that's happening.
Yeah, but Gundy doesn't win shit. He wins a conference title once a decade if he's lucky.
If he's lucky. I mean, also, too, we were mentioning from the Dum Dum games yesterday. Don't forget the ending of the Iowa game as well. I mean, look. My understanding is any motion you make with your left hand or left arm, that's considered a fair catch. You can't.
Guys, I have a health condition. I can't watch shit like that. It'll give me a heart attack. I don't watch Big Ten football on purpose unless I have to.
Neither did Michigan. That's why.
No, they've been watching Big Ten football on their own dime against and attending games they weren't supposed to in person. So
but at that point, if they had their employees sent there, it's the running joke of they should have called OSHA at that point. Like, but no, it was like the rest. Everybody was. Go ahead.
Did you see the guy in the Michigan jersey at the USC Utah game? It's like, oh my God, they're everywhere.
Well, hold on. What did you guys see what happened in Michigan State yesterday?
The funniest joke I've heard about that, it's like you're the play with Gavin Sawchuk when he was trying to figure out whether he should score or like get down at the 1 or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like he was like, what was a it's like he was looking at the sideline trying to figure out what he was supposed to do. It's like, it's like, are we ever going to figure out what he was going to do? It's like, don't worry, Michigan will tell us.
Yeah.
Because they got to scout potential opponents in the playoff, you know.
Yeah. Well, and that
Michigan's just so boring. God, I grew up with Big Ten football. I've watched Big Ten football. I don't much. So I have a high tolerance for Big Ten football. But like, dear God, I would rather do anything else than watch Ohio State or Michigan this year.
You know what's sad? Michigan State used to be the fun team to watch in the Big Ten.
They were, yeah.
They like for like.
Now they're showing Hitler on their trivia.
Oh God, I can't wait. I see. I listen to Mike Valeni on the reg. Mike Valeni Detroit radio is really good sports talk radio, even though it's like it's Detroit. It's just really good radio. So I listen to those guys on the reg, and so he's been like he's been in his feelings about like how Michigan State's just like awful. He's like, I'm not going to watch the game. There's no point. He knew what was going to happen. He's like, I'm not watching that game. It's like he's like, I'm in the fan portal. I'm officially like, he's a grad at Michigan State. I am officially, or he's like, Oregon State is my team this year. So Oregon State, the Beavers. I'm an Oregon State fan now. But no, it's but Michigan State, you go back to like the little giant, the fake field goal with Notre Dame, the Hail Mary with Keith Nickel, former OU player transfer, made the big Hail Mary catch and fought his way to the end zone. You have he's like you had the having trouble with the snap, the ball is free, like the fucked up punt by Michigan where they scored off of that.
Oh yeah, that was amazing. Oh yeah, I hated that.
Sean McDonough cracking his voice and they score, like, because so like the fact that his voice cracked made it that much better.
I mean, I'll say this, and Lincoln's gonna leave, but before it happens, Lincoln's gonna leave. But dear God, give me one more year of Lincoln Riley, just so I can see him in Wisconsin or Minnesota or somewhere.
You want to see Lincoln Riley in a parka in late November, is what you're saying?
Basically, I want to see him
Riley's like, do we have cold weather gear? Fuck me.
I want to see like a 4-win.
He left it in Oklahoma. I'm sorry, it was robbed from his house in Oklahoma.
I want to see like a 4-win USC team just roll up and get into like an 18-13 slugfest. That's just miserable for everyone. You
just imagine USC on the road like November 17th in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Yeah,
as a conference game, and it's like 3-2 in the fourth quarter. He's like, "Fuck me." Because Matt Rule slowly is rebuilding the line of scrimmage at that program. He doesn't have any skill players worth of shit, but he'll rebuild the line decently at least.
Yeah, you made me think of it real fast from yesterday as well. 82 was at the game, so you probably saw it too. When they did, you know how they have the dumb little smile cams or the dance cams or pose like a Heisman? They had one where it was a flex cam, and they went through a couple people. And when y'all talk about USC, they switched to a fan who was wearing a USC shirt in Norman, and he was smiling. He did that, biggest boos. He got booed so loudly around the stadium, as he should.
So he's a wannabe YouTuber, like one of those.
Yeah.
He's a wannabe influencer YouTuber. He's like, hey guys, I'm going to go to an Oklahoma game in a USC shirt. Watch what happens.
Yeah, probably. Either way, he got booed loudly. It was great.
Well, he's not going to get murdered unless he talks shit to the wrong person, you know?
Yeah.
But I miss Michigan State football being like one of those wild card teams, the Big Ten. Like Big Ten is basically back to the old 60s and 70s of like Ohio State and Michigan just being in charge now. So I don't know. Michigan's gonna roll through the big. Like I expect Michigan to crush Ohio State. I expect them to, and they'll crush whatever just like awful team from the Big Ten West like gets to Indianapolis, and and then I think Michigan is probably gonna be the number 1 seed.
Oh yeah, well,
because I think Georgia's gonna lose a game to somebody. I just think they will. I don't know who.
Michigan's gonna.
It might be Missouri.
Solely because so they can get the final Rose Bowl between the Pac and the Big Ten as best as they can. They'll make Washington probably like number 3.
You know what? Like,
it's coming.
I think the number 1 seed gets to pick where they want to play. So would they?
Michigan will pick the Rose Bowl. Why wouldn't they?
I guess they would. But if Washington's number 4, I mean, I guess if you're a quote unquote traditionalist, sure. But I mean, God, that means like if we make it, we would have to play like a Georgia and OU in a Sugar potentially. Fuck.
I mean, that was always to me always.
We can't run we can't run the fucking football and have to play Georgia. Fuck me.
Okay. That would be like 0-4 of the team. Like every other team we could have played, we could have beaten them except this one, and then it's that one again.
Like, if we make it in, I want to play Washington because I think we could like do whatever we want to their defense. Because I don't think Washington's defense is that good.
I don't think so either.
No. Yeah, I'm just looking at Georgia's schedule, and I'm just looking besides the cocktail party that they have next week. Their next couple weeks, like you said, Missouri. Then they have to play against Ole Miss. Then they'll have Tennessee, and then
I think they're dropping a game to somebody. I just don't think they're good. Now I think they'll drop 1, and that's it. I don't, unless there's like more injuries that they just can't overcome. But losing Bowers for a long time is going to hurt them. Like I just.
Well, their next 2 conference games after the cocktail, they have both Missouri and Ole Miss at home, but then they have to travel to Knoxville. So,
Tennessee's not
which
as
one
good
is the one that you'll be liking?
Joe Milton sucks. He is nothing close to Hendon Hooker. Like Hendon Hooker was a difference maker, and also Jalen Wyatt is gone too. That dude was a beast wide receiver for them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just Heupel needs to get a better QB because Joe Milton ain't it.
The thing is, for Alabama, Milroe makes like 5 plays a game, and with that Bama defense,
dude, Bama is slowly getting better.
Yeah,
like it's very subtle, and I'm telling you. They got LSU a week from Saturday. I think like that game is in. Is that at Bama or is that at?
Yeah,
LSU?
that's in Bama. Yeah, that's
okay.
Bama.
Okay, so that's okay. If they win that game, I know they got like Kentucky and Auburn, but like Auburn sucks this year, so maybe Kentucky's the one you keep an eye on. But they beat LSU, who has no defense. I think they're a lock for Atlanta.
Yeah,
I think they're a lock, and you just get one shot against Georgia, and Brock Bowers might be back. Maybe he will, maybe he won't. Bama may just very quietly make the college football playoff.
Which would not be the worst thing in the
world. No one is talking about Bama as a playoff team right now with one loss, and it's weird.
Because Miller's not good.
No, I understand that. I understand that's why they're doing it, but it's just they're very quietly just winning games, just taking care of business, and everyone's like expecting. Like I wrote their asses off too, but it's like I just watching it. I like Tennessee was up 13-0 yesterday early. I'm like, oh, they're gonna fuck. Tennessee's got this, and then it's like slowly but surely, Bama just wore him down, wore him down.
Hold up. I will say this because I watched that game. That was not so much Alabama wearing them down as Tennessee just made. Like I swear, some teams just when they start playing Bama, just their heads explode.
They throw up on themselves.
But that's what good teams do. That they take advantage of your mistakes.
Oh, they did, but like accidentally calling a fair catch and having to start a drive at the 3-yard line.
Yeah, but Bama didn't win that. Bama didn't win that game because Tennessee just made mistakes. I don't agree with that at all.
They didn't, but everything about Tennessee was bad yesterday.
Like you would have thought, like you're thinking, like you're pointing out, like Georgia's got Ole Miss and Missouri, and so like Ole Miss played Bama earlier too, and Bama won that game.
Yeah,
and it's very quietly. Very quiet. Now they got to go to Auburn on the road, and Auburn is not good, but Auburn's been able to hang around games at times. Maybe that's the crazy one. Maybe it's like because it's the Iron Bowl and just because. But if you told me Alabama got to Atlanta and if a couple plays go their way, and defensively Bama just like lights it up against Georgia's QB and Bowers is not as effective or whatever, or he re-injures an ankle or something. I'm not wish casting that. I'm just saying, but
right.
All of a sudden it's like Bama's in the college football playoff.
But Bama's got to play at Auburn.
I said that. Yeah, I said that. And Auburn sucks.
Yeah. But we've seen crazier things.
I just said that.
I know, but
Did you not hear what I said?
I did. Anyway.
I said that.
I just feel like this entire month is going to be like, we're going to be kind of, to see who's going to be the top of the crop, if anything. So,
you mean like every November?
Every November, yes.
You mean like every November in college football? It's like we're going to find out who's going to be the teams. Like,
yeah. I would probably say, it's going to be interesting because, like you said, Ohio State, Michigan will work itself out. But I would be very interested to hear is like, if you had to choose a one-loss team to get into the playoff, would you consider it being Alabama at this point, getting in at this point?
If they beat undefeated Georgia, fuck yeah, of course. If Georgia's one loss or undefeated, look, the SEC might be down. But if you beat Georgia, who's been number one all year, or even if they're not, if they're top, like, fuck yeah. Of course you put Bama in.
Yeah.
Like, the question, like, everyone's trying to predict which conference is going to eat itself alive. Like, the Pac-12 is a very good possibility. The Big Ten is, like, it's going to come down to one game. Michigan's beating Penn State because they don't know they can't throw the ball down the field. So Michigan's at home against OSU. They're going to, like, this is the most talented Michigan team that just Harbaugh in general that Harbaugh's ever had. Yeah. Like, I'm talking from like he's had some decent teams that were really good, but he didn't have the quarterback he had with McCarthy. Like, McCarthy's good. He ain't like Caleb or anything, but he's good enough. That Michigan team is like, they remind me a little bit of like the 04 OU team where they just lost 15 starters the year after because they were all upperclassmen or all went to the NFL, and the only guy left was like Adrian Peterson and Rufus Alexander the next year, pretty much. Michigan is like one of those things. Like, I need them to see them play somebody with a
basically
pulse.
It's now or never.
And it's like everyone's pointing to Penn State, and it's like, no, like, Penn State's not going to do shit because you're not going to run the ball down the throat of Michigan. My problem with Michigan for years is like I got to an art, like, people were making fun of me for saying Michigan is not as good as people say they are. Like, what are you talking about? You're stupid. It's like, the point I was trying to make, I was comparing them to Georgia. Like, they try to play bully ball like Georgia does. And the reason I don't like them over Georgia is because Georgia bullies better than anybody in the country right now. And so, because a lot of people try to make this argument like, well, Michigan, if a couple plays go different and they beat TCU and, they get a shot against Georgia, they don't lose 65-7, or it's like you're not going to out bully Georgia. You're not, like, Michigan tries to do what Georgia does. Like, they try to out physical you.
Except Georgia does it better.
Georgia's the best at doing that against anybody. And you're like, all due respect to Michigan, you're not doing that to Georgia. So that's why Ohio State was built to beat Georgia, because they had like 3 NFL caliber wide receivers, an NFL caliber quarterback. Unfortunately for them, like, Marvin Harrison Jr. gets hurt and gets screwed over. on a bad call, and then they must have had an OU kicker that day.
Why are you making me relive my nightmares?
Yeah.
Why are you doing this?
But no, you gotta everyone's trying to play the game. Well, of all these teams, like the Big 12 is the worst, and they might be right. It's like it's a race between the ACC and the Big 12, of which is the number 5 ranked to the Power 5, and they might be right, but it's I don't know. Like, if the SEC though, as much as I'm like talking up like teams, if like we got into a weird situation with like, if that actually happened, I'm actually having the conversation that I hate, but the SEC has no big non-conference wins this year. Like, if you want to make an argument, that's the argument. Like, Texas beat Bama. I get to say that.
Yeah.
That's an argument.
Yeah.
Ohio State beat Notre Dame. FSU beat LSU. So I mean, you look at the Pac-12 top to bottom, like Arizona State came close to beating Washington. As bad as that sounds, like top to bottom, they might be the deepest conference in the land. So again, if you have one loss Georgia or Alabama, and you have undefeated Michigan, undefeated Washington, undefeated Florida State, and dare I say undefeated Oklahoma, I mean, SEC, but where the big non-conference wins we all were hearing about before. Oh, they don't have any. What, I think Auburn beat Cal? Was that it? Can anybody, like, I mean, I know there's some non-conference games coming up at the end of the year with like the Florida States and whatnot, but
Yeah.
I don't know, like that's like the only one that could actually make an impact. Florida beating Florida State.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if Florida beat Georgia this weekend, that would be amazing. But I don't know. I'm not seeing that.
Yeah.
I'd be
No,
shocked.
I don't either.
Yeah, I just don't know. Like, non-conference scheduling, I mean, like, other than a few key mark games, like you said, with Bama, Texas, there's just been not anything,
Not anything that will
basically
be
a strong
significant.
prediction.
We were supposed to play Georgia, and who knows? Lord knows how that would have went.
Yeah, and part of that was the whole SEC scheduling conflict because of all of that sort of mess up. Texas, I will just say this, got lucky from a scheduling standpoint, because if that didn't happen, then I feel like we wouldn't be in this conversation.
Texas got lucky as well because they played them early in the year versus like now.
No, no. I mean, besides just that, but I'm just saying, like, from the scheduling standpoint, from after the whole conference realignment and everything, too.
You could tell Houston they were down 21-0, and it felt like they should have won that game. It just felt like they got.
Yeah.
Oh wow! Pick 6 by the Dolphins. That dude just picked it off like point blank range from Jalen Hurts. That was amazing. Sorry.
Hold up. Okay, I think I got one. Missouri beating Kansas State. That's
you know what? I'll give him that, because I'll give him that, because Missouri, I along with a lot of our people, we assumed Missouri was gonna shit the bed this year, and they did not. They have not so far. They have won multiple games that a lot of people thought they wouldn't, and they are very quietly
doing well.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think anyone's expecting them to win the East or anything, but they're just, hey, they had a shootout with LSU, and that was their only loss of the year.
But that's all I got. I think Mississippi State beat Arizona. That's the only other one I can think of.
No, I'm not.
Yeah. I'm not giving them credit for that one.
No.
But those are like the 3 wins: Auburn over Cal, Mizzou over Kansas State, and Mississippi State.
But the fact that we have to give the SEC
a
non-conference win is very telling.
Yeah.
So whenever people bring up like non-conference performance, the SEC has not done it this year for the most part.
Nah, there's just hasn't been really anything, to credit.
Go SMU, win the American, please.
Yeah.
Please win the American.
They're not going to leave SEC out of playoff.
I mean, if they have to, they will.
Yeah, but I don't know who you'd leave out for that, though. If you had a one-loss SEC team, I'd be hard-pressed to figure out who would be the one that would get over them.
Well, if you
unless they was undefeated
undefeated, I think a one loss. Okay, I'll give you a guarantee one loss.
Washington.
Well, a one loss Pac-12 champ gets in.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think if Washington loses one,
a one loss Big Ten champ gets in. So those are two. In my opinion, those are two guarantees.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
I want to hold on real quick, Sean. Here's the only issue I would have with this is like, because you have Michigan and Ohio State both being undefeated, and then you have one of them winning the Big Ten. Does the one-loss Big Ten still get in?
Yes.
Wait, hold on. Like if let's say for argument, I'm using. Let's say Penn State. Well, let's say Penn State pulls off a miracle win against Michigan in a close game. Like they do have the number one defense in the country statistically, and I believe it's a road. Isn't that a road game? Isn't that at
Michigan
Happy
is
Valley?
a road game for Penn State, so it'll be at
Happy Valley. Okay. Okay. So it's at Happy Valley. Okay. So Happy Valley, it's a wideout, 100,000 strong defense. They actually get some scores on defense. But Michigan bounces back, beats Ohio State, and if there's a tiebreaker or Penn State drops another game, Michigan is a one-loss team, beats Wisconsin or something.
Iowa.
Wisconsin. So that I guess that's the way it would happen. So a one-loss Big Ten Pac-12 champ is going to get in. ACC is not guaranteed. Big 12 is definitely not guaranteed, and SEC is probably higher than the other two, but no guarantees there. So,
right,
it's when you start getting into the one-loss conversations, it's where it gets interesting because it all depends who you lost to, and then we get to have the ever so fun debate of quality loss. Oh, I want to beat someone in the back of the head with the end of a rifle every time I hear that shit quality loss. I just end of the day, we're gonna like everyone, we're all gonna find out like what all the talking heads think is. I know the talking heads right now do not have the Big 12. There's no love for the Big 12. So
no, and to be fair,
I don't love the Big 12.
Well, I don't love the Big 12 either.
But yeah, here's the thing: we can talk about this ad nauseum, but it's going to get really old really fast. All we can do is, call me a month. Call me a month. Call me around Thanksgiving, and we'll see where things are. Because look, things tend to have a way of working themselves out for the most part.
Yeah. So we're not going to have 5 undefeated champions. If that happens, then well. Expand the playoff this year for
yeah.
Have
a plan.
I think the last
yeah.
The last teams who just got totally screwed.
An emergency act of Congress where they actually
good.
Yeah, like Congress for whatever reason they can find a way to everyone agrees on sports emergencies for whatever reason. Like that's how you get Democrats and Republicans to get something done. We all like sports. Let's make this happen. Finally, a common ground between good and evil. I'll let you decide which is which. I'm just. I expect OU to drop a game anyway, so it's going to be.
Oh yeah, I do too.
So
I'll be honest.
They might drop 2 at this point. The way they're playing.
I'm circling that BYU. That's the one I'm eyeing.
I've stayed with what I've said all year. OU, this is not a championship team. I'd really like them to be. I want them to make. I'd still rather make the playoff. And
don't get me wrong. I could see them go undefeated, but unless they have the absolute perfect matchup, I think they would match up against Washington. All right.
Yeah.
I don't like. Michigan's line play is really good, both sides.
Yeah.
I think they would have a puncher's chance against Georgia. I'm not saying they win. They would have a puncher's chance. Like if they would have to have a near perfect game. FSU maybe if Keon Coleman is like, if they can actually like shut him down because that guy's good. But yeah, other than that, it's just
because I mean, if you take a look at it, I would say it's BYU or West Virginia would be the loss.
No, West Virginia. No, West Virginia sucks. I'm sorry.
They do, but it's also a trap game.
No,
it is
that's a no. I
right after Oklahoma State.
No,
right after Oklahoma State.
I refuse to accept. No,
I refuse. I thought UCF wasn't going to be.
No, dude. I will give you TCU. I'll give you BYU. I'll even give you the Pokes. I am fuck West Virginia.
I could see TCU as well.
OU will fuck them in their eye sockets that night in Norman. Or that day in Norman. They will skull fuck those motherfuckers.
I think they would want revenge, but I'm circling it solely.
It's not about revenge. It's just West Virginia is not this team. People, no, they will skull fuck them. West Virginia
they did lose to
fucking sucks. They fucking suck.
I mean,
so I'm getting very vulgar here, and I apologize. But no, West Virginia. No, I'll give you BYU on the road as just like as a crazy place to play. I'll give you the Pokes just because of Bedlam. I'll even give
rumor is, by the way, is it sounds like we're getting it as a big noon kickoff. That's already starting. It's going to be
big sunrise kickoff.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know who's gonna hate that? Stillwater. Stillwater's gonna hate that shit.
Oh damn! I guess they better get used to it.
Yeah, they're gonna hate that shit.
Yeah, that's the rumor though.
Is West Virginia like the only night game we might have left?
Yeah, honestly. And I'm even hearing since they lost, that's going to be an 11 a.m. as well.
So BYU then might be the only night game we have, and it's gonna be on the road.
Yep.
God. Damn, we're really gonna be. You see, that's good for me. Honestly, that's good for me because I get my games done early in the day, and I get to maximize my clicks and my ad revenue. So fuck
yeah. I mean, that's what I'm hearing.
Even the Big 12 championship is a noon kick. Fuck.
Yeah. I mean, we joke about it, guys, but we said that they can't get that good sweet.
Well, Ohio State fans are starting to complain about it. They were pissed. They were pissed at Penn State.
Hey, motherfuckers! At least you won. At least you won that game.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and hey, you know what? I'll take this time. Ryan Day still to beat Michigan, but at least beating Notre Dame and Penn State has raised him in my estimation. I kind of want Ohio. I'm
kind of rooting for Ohio State to beat Michigan, and I'm not like fans of Ohio State or anything.
Oh yeah, I'm an Ohio State fan, so I want it. I hope you're right.
I want Marvin Harrison Jr. just to just
destroy people.
Yeah, just to fuck up their Christmas. I would love that.
Like I said, if Ryan Day beats Michigan this year, I take back all the slander I've said for the last 2 years about him. And there's a lot.
Just for these 2 years, though. Don't
I just think that. Michigan.
I'll take it all back.
I just think Michigan is just one of these. Michigan is like the North version of Texas and their arrogance, but it's not just that. It's a combination of their arrogance and we're better than you type of shit with all the fucking shit that Harbaugh has been a part of with like the Spygate scandal, his offensive coordinator being like arrested by unmarked vans. Unmarked vans pull up to his residence and like take the dude's computer. Gee, I wonder what happened there. You got that. You have you have Amazi Smith with a gun charge, plays the next day, no suspension. You have the whole Dr. Anderson scandal with Bo Schembechler's team doctor being a fucking sexual assaulter of men across the state of Michigan and the entire country. But no one makes a big deal of it nationally because it's men being sexually assaulted, specifically football players. So it doesn't get the same spicy as the shit that happened at Michigan State with the gymnastics doc.
Well,
that creeper.
Well, in fairness, Ohio State wrestling had the same problem.
Right, but again,
I'm just saying. In fairness, I'm just saying.
If male athletes are like sexually assaulted, it does not get the same attention. attention.
No, it does not.
Even it was like, and it was like 800 or 900 potential victims of that dude, and that's why it's like I like Michigan's just like a fucking shit show, and I think it's just as bad as Penn State. Except it's not. It's like, except with Penn State, it was children, so it gets all the attention, and rightfully so. But 18 to 22-year-olds getting like diddled by the team doctor, no, it does not get the attention on it from ESPN or national as much. It's like a little bias. It was. It's like Real Sports had a thing on it, but the problem, they said, well, the people involved are dead, so what do you want to do? It's like, well, Michigan should fucking acknowledge what happened.
They should. And
try to make right. But like the statue of Bo Schembechler still remains up.
Yep.
And it's just, so yeah.
They don't want to acknowledge it because then that would tarnish.
Well, no, it's like if a scandal of Bud Wilkinson was revealed for us. And when I'm not just using this as an example, I'm not saying
right.
But if Bud Wilkinson was secretly an axe murderer of unsolved crimes of all these years, he would he was Jason Voorhees and killed camp counselors. He moonlighted as a hockey mask villain, and we all found out about it 50 years later. And OU kept the statue up of Bud. And instead of taking the statue down, they had a hockey mask to honor him even more, So it's a fucked up thing to think about, but that's literally what happened at Michigan. It's literally what happened.
Yeah.
So
they made it more of a big thing. So that
at least Penn State took down the statue of Joe Pa for fuck.
Yeah.
At least they did that. They still suck. Don't Penn State, but at least they took the statue down.
Yeah, but they were very much pressured into doing that because a lot of people did not want that to happen.
Yeah, but no one's pressured Michigan because who are the victims? Grown men.
Yeah.
Yep.
So anyway, that's my rant on Michigan. On the fucking shit. God, you should have seen how remember how holier than thou Michigan was over the tunnel incident with Michigan State last year? Don't get me wrong. Michigan State player that threw his helmet and was hitting people was a piece of shit, and he should have do whatever you want, punish him however.
Yeah.
But fucking Jim Harbaugh and the Michigan AD were like, how dare this happen? They got on their fucking soapbox and they let them they were the moral authority, and it's like, fuck you. Fuck you and your moral high ground. It's like, fuck Michigan. It's like we play those fuckers in a year or two, and I hope we beat their asses.
Me too.
And I hope Harbaugh's still there too, even though he's probably done after this year with his fucking.
Harbaugh's been trying to go to the NFL for 2 years.
Well, he had the whole self-imposed suspension bullshit because he didn't want to admit that he cheated during COVID and had JJ McCarthy for a visit when he wasn't supposed to.
Yeah,
it's for fuck's sake, dude, just admit it.
Yeah.
Because it's just a cheeseburger. Yeah. No, you had on-campus visits during COVID. No one else was allowed to do that.
Yeah.
Even Riley didn't. Even Riley didn't do that shit.
No, Riley specializes in tampering, though.
Oh, absolutely. And I was all for him doing that. Fuck. Listen. I have no problem if everyone's fucking butthurt Texas fans are saying, well, Brett Venables is he steals signs too. Good. At least he gets away with it. He does it the right way.
At least they're in game,
If everyone, here's the thing: if you're dumb enough to get caught stealing, if you're dumb enough to get caught doing something,
well, Brent doesn't send his staff to other games. He does he does hours upon hours of film study. That's how he figures out what your nuances and your patterns are. The opening plays of the Texas game where guess what? Second play, Gentry pick.
Yeah.
Because I know what play you're gonna run here. Gentry's gonna intercept the pass, and we're gonna shove this football right up your ass and go up 7-0.
Don't get me wrong though. I understand not wanting to record like their practices. I'm all for that. You shouldn't be spying on that.
Well, it's not practices. It's like you go to other games.
It's a publicly accessible game that you can buy a general admission ticket to.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, make your signs better. Like,
no, don't get me wrong.
Too.
It's a really stupid rule, but it is a rule for a reason, and I understand why it's in place. But it's like I'm like, yeah, like I'm not harping on Michigan getting punished for that. It's all the other shit that I have a problem with Michigan.
It's like what happened with Major League Baseball. How for years it was just don't get caught like putting stuff on the ball.
Oh God, the most moral, the most.
And we're not going to do anything. And then and then they started using like super sticky stuff.
Fucking baseball fans are their moral high ground about cheating when like the whole history of the sport is about cheating.
It's about cheating. But remember though, if you're not cheating, you're not trying hard enough.
Steroids have ruined our stat book and our records. Like who fucking cares? Barry Bonds is the greatest baseball player ever. Deal with it.
Here's the thing. That's
my thing. Steroids. Who cares?
That's my thing. It's like, that annoys me too because for 20 plus years I've heard, steroids are bad. Clemens, Bonds, all these guys should be basically cast out of the sport. Then you had an actual cheating scandal with the Astros, and the
Mickey Mantle was like
right back.
Mickey Mantle was like a horrible alcoholic who like probably killed people in DUIs, but like he's a pure untainted legend of the sport.
Yep.
Cobb was a giant piece of shit, but at least he didn't cheat.
Some of the stuff about Cobb was made up by his biographer.
Some of the stuff.
Babe Ruth, one of the biggest pieces of shit.
Cobb, Cobb, it's a little more complicated. With Cobb, no one knows what's real anymore because his biographer made up a bunch of shit about him after he died.
Pete Rose bet on baseball. Who cares?
Certain stories about him were 100% made up. Oh, okay. I care if you bet on the sport when you're.
I would reinstate Pete Rose tomorrow. If I was
no way. You don't reinstate someone who bet on the sport while he was a manager. I don't care what sport it is.
I would reinstate him tomorrow.
I don't want a football coach betting on games while
I would reinstate him tomorrow.
Information. You're wrong about this, but
I would make him a first ballot. I would retroactively make him a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Just because it would rustle the jimmies of every baseball fan.
Yeah.
Oh God, yes, it'd be great.
Yeah.
Because my mother's maiden name is Rose.
Oh, he should be in the Hall of Fame. He should
so on some level, we have to be related, somewhat, right?
Oh no, he should be in the Hall of Fame.
I'm doing the fam a favor.
He just shouldn't have a job in Major League Baseball.
I'm doing the fam a favor. That's what I'm doing.
Gavin, you got the last one because I got to wrap it up.
I was just gonna say now I gotta dig into family history and see if I need to find whoever this Rose is, if anything, Sean.
Yeah. I mean, you never know who you're related to. So, guys, I want to thank y'all for joining tonight, as well as everybody who hung out and listened to us. Be sure to comment, rate, subscribe, like, hit the bell when you know we go live, upload a video. Make sure you watch some of the old videos. Again, it helps with the algorithm. So when we go live or upload, it gets to more people, like post videos and everything. And be sure to tune in, guys. Wednesday, we got preview against Kansas coming up. So Boomer Sooner, guys, only one. I'll see everybody Wednesday. Later.
Peace.
Catch the ball, you